Go. Okay, this is Sabrina's podcast, and today is episode 10. So very special, and I'm so happy that I invited to my one of my best friend, Juliette from France. Can you introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure. First of all, thank you for inviting me to your podcast. We talked about it for a while, finally, make it happen. Yeah, so my name is Juliette. I come from France and I'm a professional ballet dancer and teacher. And I moved to Taipei around 2 years ago now already. So time flies and so happy to be here.
So everyone probably curious about what brings you to here.
Oh, yeah, I get this question a lot. I guess it's a bit different from most people. Like, most people come here for a job or something like this. But for me, it was more like a personal adventure because I'm French and I lived in Europe most of my life. And I felt like it was time for a change. And I felt really called to Taiwan. I had been there before, it was not the first time. I traveled to Taiwan in 2016 to spend time with some friends who lived there at the time. And it was my first time in Asia, so I was really, yeah, it was so different, like culture shock. But at the same time, there are so many things in Asian culture that always attracted me since I was very young, actually. And I always ate a lot of Asian food at home, go to the Asian stores in Europe already. So it kind of makes sense in a way that I choose to come to Asia. And of course, it's a lot of challenges to adapt to the culture and find work here and stuff like that. But I met some really incredible people, keep making friends and get some new opportunities to work. So yeah, I'm really, really happy that I made that choice.
You know, Julia, she is very talented. I'm so happy for you that she has many tutors right now and many lessons. And if you want to sign up lesson, please follow her Instagram. And I really admire Julia because she's very like independent and like she focuses on what she wants to do, and she study Chinese right now and adapt into Taiwanese culture and food. And look at her, you know. She's here and doing the podcast with me. So that's directly forward to the question from the last two guests. Because we have a special guest last time, and the first question for you is like, because we're gonna talk about love and relationship in this episode. So the question from the last guest is like, what is the non-negotiable things in the relationship?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, I was thinking about it a little bit. And so I think there are a few for sure. And I guess number one is respect, because if you don't respect each other, there cannot really be a healthy, strong relationship. And also, really important is reciprocity. So, of course, it's never going to be 50-50 in the relationship. It's impossible. We're humans, and sometimes we have down moments, and sometimes we can support each other when the other one has like a tough time, needs more support than us. But there should be some kind of reciprocity. So if you think you're always the one doing all the effort, and then it cannot work. Otherwise, you're miserable. So yeah, from my experience, also that's really important for me. If I feel like I'm doing all the work, or I don't feel the same level of love that I give, then it's too painful, and I don't feel valued. So I prefer to leave the situation in that case. Yeah.
And also, I have to add one more thing. And if I have a relationship right now, the most like non-negotiable things like when you have a confrontation with your partner, and they like your partner doesn't want to have a communication with you. I think that's like non-negotiable things. Like you have to, like you can't avoid this forever, or like even there are two different attachments right now. Nowadays, people are talking about like avoidant or like anxious or safe, secure. Like communication is always be the key. If you want to have a successful relationship or like your career. So for me, that's really important. Even you don't want to face it, but you have to find a time and opportunity for your relationship to figure out the problem that you have between each other. So that's just, yeah. Okay, this question you don't know, but like that's another guest for you. He prepared for you is like, what's the most scariest thing, the scariest thing you ever done in your life?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. The scariest thing, oh, I guess, is to quit my job and decide to move to Taiwan because I I took the decision, but I didn't have someone waiting for me here. I just knew one friend and I didn't have a job offer, like for sure, like a signed contract or something. So it was scary because, I was in my comfort zone. I was a dancer in a German theater at the time and they had plans to renew my contract. So it was not logical at all. And that made me question myself so much. I was like, are you crazy? You're going to quit your job? And it's really tough to find a good job as a ballet dancer, So I had a job security thing, but I decided to drop it and I had no guarantee at all that I would find something, So I was like, that was scary for sure. But yeah, in the end, I did make the choice. That was scary, yes.
This is pretty scary. Like, imagine that you move to somewhere and then you have to survive in that country.
Yes,
and
exactly.
You have to think and kind of think about like, what can I do? What's the ability that I have? Because, like, for example, if I just move to Western countries, I'm doubting myself because I'm a teacher right now, but my specialty is like physical education, and maybe I can do a little bit music stuff. Mm-hmm. But who wants to learn Chinese if I live in Western? How can I find a really good job can keep me survive in there? So I'm so proud of you, by the way. So let's talk about love. What is love, and like when do you feel like, oh, this is love?
Yeah, that's a tough question too, because I think love is a bit maybe different for each person. And the way I felt love in different relationships was a bit different. But I would say it's when I can't stop thinking about the other person and always wondering when I'm going to see them and hear from them and really looking forward to spend time together because I'm really independent, like as you were saying. I love my me time. I'm also very social, so I do go out, meet my friends, but I need my balance, So if I spend like a whole day with a bunch of people, I need to find my time by myself. But if I do want to spend so much time with one person, it means I do have like strong feelings. And like the last time I realized I was in love, it was just like almost like a sudden realization on that specific day. But of course it's like a gradual thing. Like you realize, oh yeah, I can't stop thinking about that person and I want to be around them a lot. So that for me, that's what love is.
That's good. But the issue recently nowadays, like when people they gradually find like, oh, this is love, but at the same point they will lose themselves. Like they probably will put too much effort on their crush without focusing on themselves. Do you have this experience, or like do you have any advice for those people who is suffering this?
Yeah, that's really true. I think in the past I used to be not really losing myself completely, but I think I was not really looking to myself as much. Now I'm more discerning about this. And of course I can be like really in love with someone and spend so much time, but I would never like neglect my friendships. Like I will always make the time to meet my friends, have my alone time, focus on my career, focus on my goals, my studying Chinese, all the things I want to do by myself as if I was single. But I think it's possible to find that balance. For me, it definitely took some years to develop that. And in the past, I think, like you said, I was maybe like losing myself a little bit and always try to think, oh, is that person into me? Like, am I doing enough for the relationship? But at the same time, I was not really receiving enough. So I tend to be overgiver. And I learned with life to not overgive. And I was always like running after people before. I was like the anxious style. And I transitioned. It's really hard, yeah. I always wanted to be, loved by everyone and stuff, like always looking for that love. But I realized, like, you're not for everybody. You're going to find your people, you're going to find your love and your support system, but you're not meant to be liked and loved by everybody. And that's okay. It means you're really you. And the more you are, the more you attract the people who like you for you. And that's the most important thing for me.
That's a really good perspective, a quote. Like, could be like the intro of this this episode. Like, yeah, but also like men and women are totally different. Like, women are way more like sentimental, and this is not a bad thing, but this is our life lesson. We have to overcome it, because like I believe everyone experiences, including me and you, and like when you love someone, you will give everything to someone you love, and then you feel like where am I, or like why I gave so much to someone I love, but like they don't love me back, or like you can't get the same balance you gave, and then for sure the end is like not the balance, then broke up, or like. So I like the the perspective you say. First thing, whatever you have, like the relationship you have right now, you have to focus on yourself. Even like different genders or different countries, or like long distance, whatever you have, or like even you guys already live in the same house right now, still you have to have your me time. And for me, just like hobby is really important. If you don't have your hobby, you only have your job, I don't think that's not gonna work. What do you think of this?
Yeah, for sure. Even like I'm someone who has like a passion job. Like, I feel so lucky. I've been a dancer most of my life. I did some like small temporary jobs when I was in Paris before I come to Taiwan. And also brought me a lot, because I don't think I'm going to be just in dance all my life, because this world has so many things to offer, right? And we're in a very evolving world, like very fast changing world, with like now the AI and all these things. So I think like many new opportunities will arise in the future. So of course my job has always been a big part of my life, but it's not always been the only thing. I think if you lose yourself in your job too much, it's also unhealthy. So yeah, developing your hobbies and finding some activities you enjoy doing, even if you're not good at it, but you really enjoy it, I think is really fine. It's really good. Yeah. Yes.
That's nice. And I have another question. So, when we're in love, or like when we have a crush, we always want to show that certain person our best part, or the bright side. But however, we are human beings. We have multiple emotions, or like bad habits, or like a terrible personality, like that's pretty normal, right? So there are tons of social medias or like podcasts that are talking about like, oh, do this, do that, or like no, zero manipulation, blah blah blah, or just be yourself. So I think this is like a really controversial right now. And I have my perspective of this, but like I want you to share your perspective of this. Shall we do something like manipulations, or like should we just be ourselves, like totally be very vulnerable to your partner or someone who you love? What do you think? Because I have my answer, and I'm curious about yours.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So because I used to be like more anxious before, I had to like kind of force myself to like stop myself for texting when I don't hear from that person that I am into for too long, because I knew I would come off as too like, like too close, always messaging first. So for me, I had to force myself to find that balance, because I knew myself at that point, and I had to slowly evolve into that safe thing. So sometimes you have to like kind of manipulate your own behavior as well, because you know yourself, right? If you know you're too avoidant, you have to force yourself to like face the person. And if you're anxious like I used to be, you have to force yourself to realize, like stop making scenarios in your head. I have a very fertile imagination, so when I don't hear from someone, sometimes I'm like, what happened to them? Or they seeing someone else, like, are they in a car accident? What happened? Like their phone broke. Like, I would make stories like that in my mind. And I had to like calm myself down, take the time, and we're all humans, you know, like even now I'm safer and safer. I'm still working on this, but you know, it takes time and you have to know yourself. But as for manipulating the other person, like, of course not. Like, that's not healthy. And people who like play games and tricks, of course you want to like gain someone's attention. So of course sometimes you would wear like your best outfit or post some nice stories on Instagram, stuff like that to attract their attention. I think that's perfectly fine. Everybody's done it, you know, everybody keeps doing it. That's perfectly fine. But like to try to manipulate someone and like trick them, I think is, yeah, of course not okay, because you have to think what kind of person I want to be, and you have to be honest with yourself and also be yourself. So if the person doesn't like you for you, then it's not going to work in the long term.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, why girls want to put the makeup on? It sounds like a manipulation, but like we just want to look good, and like that's like a natural things. Like, you know, attract to guy, and guy will like you know, do their hairs blah 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 like that. You know, it's pretty common. But like just like you say, don't play games in relationship. That's not gonna work. My answer of this question, I will say like don't do manipulation, but we can try some strategy. For example, I also have this issue like I always feel anxious and insecure. But who can give us the security? Like first, like we have to give ourselves the secure feeling. And there always have like a many different voices in your brain tell you some negative triggers and try to force you to think the negative side, and you will definitely lose yourself. But however, if we can control our mind, which is very difficult, right? We can't even control our mind. How can we control or manipulate your partner to do something that you like? It's impossible. So right now, I'm doing like if I have so much voices in my brain, or I would just do some physical thing. I just walk out of my house and or just do the treadmill, even just like 1 kilometer or whatever. Just let my body move first, and then the truth is that I always feel better. This is like for me, strategy can help us to, you know, decline our negative trigger of thoughts, and also can help the relationship, because like if we do something impulsive, you know, behavior, if we have that, I think that would just ruin the relationship. So I think this can help everyone. Also remind myself or you. So what do you think what is the good or the amazing relationship you want in future?
Ooh, that's like very personal because
You don't
yeah.
just like your ideal relationship.
Oh yeah.
Just ideal.
That's what I mean. It's like my idea of relationship is personal, and I think nowadays even, you know, there are so many types of relationship possible, you know, polyamory and you know, like, so personally, I'm heterosexual, so I'm attracted to men, and I'm monogamous, so I don't want to see other people, and I don't want my partner to see other people. I'm very strict about this, you know. You know, it's for me, I realize I'm like this, you know, I get jealous if I see my man is too close to someone, someone's trying to hit on my man. I was like, for me, it's not okay. But like some people are perfectly fine and they like open relationship. I think there's no problem as long as you're honest with yourself and the person also, and two people agree to that type of relationship. I think is really amazing if it works. But for me, I could never have this type of relationship, at least until now, and I'm already like 33. So I don't know. Maybe in the future I'll change, but for now I'm really like this. So for me, like I was saying, like respect and reciprocity, monogamy, and having deep conversations. I'm really big on deep conversations, as you know. And laughing together is super, super important. Not take it like each other too seriously or ourselves too seriously. So of course I would never bring my partner down, and I would hate that my partner brings me down, you know. Like, you can joke about someone's flaws or someone's inability to be able to do something, but it should be a joke. It should not be something you mean for real. Yes, you know, like. So yeah, all these type of things, and having the same vision for the future also is very important. Like if you have also like similar, I don't think you should have exactly the same hobbies and the same work, otherwise it's too boring. You're not supposed to be twins, you're supposed to be a couple. So of course it's amazing if two people have the same job, the same hobbies, they can share many things, but I also want to be with someone who like teaches me something and like makes me discover another aspect of something, and I can also bring them something, you know. So for me it's really important as well. Yeah, there's so many things required for a good relation. Also, like the chemistry should be there, you know. Like you still like, I'm very touchy person. Like I like to touch my partner a lot, you know. So for me, it's really important to be attracted to your partner. Obviously, that aspect for me is really important in a relationship. And as I was saying, it's personal. So maybe for some people, the physical aspect may not be as important, but for me, it's really part of the relationship.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
That's, you know, that's just very common. And yeah, but I just have different, you know, you remind me, right? One thing is just, we always have like everyone has their, you know, like a past experience of their relationship. And I realized like there are so many friends or like social medias that the people, they are talking about like when they meet someone else and they are too scared to be themselves. Like for example, if their past, their ex just like, I don't really like to do this and this is a reason why caused them work up. And when someone met another person and she or he is too scared to be themselves because like, what if this new person doesn't like me? So they got traumatized over this. And what's the advice can you give them of this? It's really complicated, right? Like you have this trauma and then how can you survive in a new relationship?
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky, but like, as I was saying earlier to you, like we will, because as human beings, we always try to avoid pain, right? Mm-hmm. We don't want to feel pain, we don't want to feel hurt, but we will always experience some kind of, you know, disappointment and pain and hurt from others. And because we're humans, that's just the way we work, right? We cannot be happy all the time, have amazing relationships with each other. It's not possible. No. So the thing is, you cannot hide from pain. So the thing is, you just have to go for it. It's really scary, but you have to bear your heart open and like hand the knife to the person, basically. Yes. You have to open yourself. Exactly. And it's the only way to be really like yourself and happy in a relationship. So the advice is to be scared and do it anyway, I guess. There is no other way around for me, at least. Because if you... Yeah, you cannot shield yourself from the pain your whole life, or you'll be by yourself your whole life because you're just like not showing the whole you to the other person. So how can you expect the other person to show you also themselves, you know? So sorry guys, it's scary, but we have to do it.
You have to. It's love. You have to give it a try, you know. Yes. Otherwise, how can you know this is a true love or not, you know? Like if you hide yourself, are you sure this person attract you when you putting the mask on, you know, on you? So be vulnerable and you feel scared. It's common. It's normal. Just give a try. But the key is still the same. Like be, you know, vulnerable when you're ready and communicate to someone you like and you love. And otherwise you will never know the answer. And you keep assuming the scenario, but that's the fake, you know, triggers, and then you will, you know, sink in the loop over and over again. So yes, for sure we learn the, you know, lesson from our ex, and we bring this as a power and knowledge. And I believe that we always face the same problem issue when we are in the next relationship. However, we just remind ourselves we don't make the same mistakes, but we remember it. When we feel it, it's pretty scary, but how can we do? Are we gonna avoid that, or are we gonna, you know, pretend there's nothing happened? I don't think so. So for when we are in love, just go for it, right? That's it. Thank you, Julia. It's a very, you know, lovely day. Very hot today, but like It's amazing topic that finally someone who likes who likes to talk about love next topic with me. So every time after the episode my podcast, we always have two rules you have to follow. The first one is like what did you learn today, and then what is the question for the next guest. So you ready?
Let's see. Yeah, the main takeaway is, so in relationships, and I think also in life in general, we have to dare to be ourselves and feel vulnerable enough with other people, and always care about ourselves first. Because if we just try to always like please the other person, it's not good in the long term. Yeah. So yeah, this is really, really important lesson for sure.
Keep this in your notes.
Yes. Personally, it took me many years to like integrate this lesson.
It's not easy. It's really
Yes.
difficult. I'm still working on that.
It takes time. We're learning every day. You know, life is a big like learning field. We're here to learn. I think that's my belief. And if you don't learn your lesson, life keeps bringing it to you through different people and situation. That's how it was for me, at least. So
If you don't
learn your lesson.
learn the lesson. If you don't learn your lesson, the same karma gonna comes to you over and over again. Exactly. So this is good. So what's the question for the next guest? You don't know who he or she is, but like whatever, different topics, or like you can decide.
Okay, maybe that's a bit generic question, but I think it reveals a lot about the person and who they are at their core and about their life. Is maybe, when do you feel like the most alive? Like doing what or being where, or like what makes you feel the most alive?
That's a good one. I'm gonna think of this.
Yeah, me too, actually. I think over a few things already for me. It can be multiple things, not just one thing, of course, but I think can be really interesting to know the answer to that question for ourselves and, our loved ones, anyone.
I can ask my student of this. Thank you for being here, and see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.